strapping. Feel the hum in your hands. This is 4D. Heat on my palms, grip locked, heart racing. Shoes hit the pedal, whole room shaking. Jersey on my back, hair pulled low and blazing. Every turn I take, got the ghosts I'm chasing. 4D in my veins, feel that fire when I play, when I move, when I break, when I bang through the lane. 4D on my skin, when I lose, when I win, I'm alive in the light of the game I'm in. 4D, 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 it's different.
And welcome back for race 2 of our day-night doubleheader here on P1 Broadcasting. I'm Gary Gatto, and welcome to P1's broadcasting coverage of round 5 of season 9 of the longest continuously running Dallara DW12 Series on iRacing today. It's the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by 4D Racewear, coming tonight from World Wide Technology Raceway, otherwise known as Gateway, for the 8th running of the Dark Horse St. Louis 175. Joining me in the booth, the Catalyst Andrew Wood again is on assignment this week. And joining me for the second time today is Kyle Klidworth, the former and current reigning and now defending Oval Series champion, iRacing IndyCar Series. Welcome back, Clindy. Good to have you here. We are off to a little DW12 racing tonight at Gateway. Should be good.
Yep, we got them ripping around the egg-shaped oval just outside of St. Louis in Illinois. So I know it's right on the border, right on the river. A lot of fun stuff to do in the area around this track. I've been myself, been to St. Louis many times. So I encourage everyone, if they ever get a chance, go watch IndyCars rip around this 1.25 mile high banked egg on one end with a tight radius and a flat wide radius on the other end. It's really puts on a great show.
Yeah, this is actually home of the second longest IndyCar race all season long after the Indy 500. So if you like your oval racing, you're in the area, check it out here at Gateway. Watching DW12s qualify now with about 3 seconds left, and we will have we now have provisional. Now we have official. And we will get into today's and tonight's starting lineup. But before we do, here is the points coming into today's event. Indy Kirkenbauer and Matty Wags with a tie in the championship point standings as we've reached the second half of the season. Admin host with the most, Eric Peterson, is 4 points back in third, and Mark Murphy, former, and actually not former, but you're defending series champion, 5 points back in fourth, and not a distant fifth and too far off is Jeff Hysong, who is fifth in points, only 20 back. And then after that, it kind of falls off to 50-plus points back for Greenlee and Gallus and A.J. Hobson, Lovern, and Chris Stouffer. But Clinty, the top 5 all within 20 points, and we still have a lot to play for this season. Not just the Gateway, but the whole entire second half of the schedule. Get the points away, and here is the schedule. As you get a chance to look at that, next up on the schedule is Texas Motor Speedway, Pocono, Homestead, and Indianapolis. Let's get tonight's starting lineup in. And I am not hearing Clint any longer. He might be doing some work for me. I'm having some paints issues again, but just about everyone is loaded in with the exception of one. And I think he's trying to dig that up for me. But I will get in tonight's starting lineup. Jeff Hysong, 5th in points, but first on the grid tonight. He's your pole sitter at the speed of 183 flat. In fact, only 3 cars in the 183 range, and they were off each other's speed by thousandths of a mile an hour. AJ Hobson is lining up second. Can't have an IndyCar race without AJ in the lineup. He will line up second. Indy Kirkenbauer, our points leader, lines up third. Gary McGill in fourth. Then we got Murph in row 3. Lilac Zier in the Janet Guthrie livery. Lilac in the 6th starting spot there. Then we got Wags, our current tied points leader with Kirkenbauer. He's in row 4 with Peterson and Caleb Brashear and Lovern back in row 5. And we got Chris Albrecht and Hugo Gallas, row 6. Dinsdale, Kirkenbauer, the senior Kirkenbauer in row 7. Julian Altena Stouffer in row 8. Morales and Teed in row 9. And JB back in row 10. 19 cars starting tonight. Getting ready to do 175 laps, 350 kilometers here at the Oval just outside of St. Louis.
Wrap up our doubleheader here today under the lights, Gary. So lights are bright. Sunday night. Let's get them rip-roaring, guys, and put on a good show for the viewers at home.
Nighttime is the right time for IndyCar racing. Field under the command of Jeff Hysong as he brings them down to the green flag. Joined on the front row by A.J. Hobson. Right behind him, Kirkenbauer and Miguel. Here we go. Green flag is out at Gateway.
Murphy got a good jump on the initial start. He's looking to put Guillermo Miguel behind the 8 ball. Oh, big neck code and a huge crash into turn 1.
Oh, and it's one of our championship contenders. It is
Peterson and
Ed Wagner,
both taken out.
And they're going to have to come to pit road, stay on the lead lap, and execute the fast repair, which they do both have one fast repair each in this series. And unfortunately, Peterson is having to tow right away. Wags is bringing the Olympic car. Oh, no, Wags trying to aim it to pit road. Sorry, go ahead.
This all started with Mark Murphy's good jump. Murph got so close to the car in front of him, he had to whoa up on the brakes unexpectedly, and Wagner rear-ended him, caused a chain reaction, and Wagner went flipping.
And let's get back onto the restart as we're under caution already. And Murph gets up on Indy Kirkenbauer and thinks about splitting the middle there. And yeah, Indy just cracks the throttle a little bit. Then here comes Wags. Wags gets hip checked by Caleb Brashear. And then Wags up into Eric Peterson. And I'll go back and watch that again. And Lilac Zier was in the neighborhood too. She avoids contact. But again, this all happens accordion style. Going into one, you see Murph kind of get up to Indy, check up a little bit. That causes Wags to go up into Peterson. and everyone else kind of makes it by, but two cars having to execute the fast repair already, and both of them are championship points leaders.
And that's good for Murphy, who's sitting third in the championship fight. I mean, I'm sure he didn't mean for that to happen, but just a consequence of close racing there at the start. But put both of his competitors behind the 8-ball, and that's how you break the pool table to start with.
We're going to be going green next time by. Gonna do a little bit of housekeeping here as Trading Paints is once again giving me problems. I'm going to try a repair on it, see if that might fix it before.
Community-created software has community-created problems. No pitters under the cycle but Matt Wagner, who came in and affected his fast repair. He'll be able to go slightly further on fuel than the rest of the field here. So if this goes green and we get a yellow right at the end of the cycle, the pit stop cycle, Wagner might just cycle to the lead. So we'll see how cautious he is without a second car sitting in the pit lane now that he and Peterson have both used their fast repairs.
And green flag is out. Working on paints again. And this time it seems like the field's safely down the backstretch now. And we could get into this race. 175 laps, the longest race Dark Horse has ever had here at Gateway by 25 laps, and here goes AJ Hobson to the inside.
Clear of Hysong and to the lead. He's going to slide up to the top, and let's see if he defends down the backstretch. No. Hysong gets a good run from running the top through 1 and 2. Slingshots himself to the bottom. Here comes Kirchenbauer fighting against Hobson for second. Murphy looking to go 3 again. Thinks better of it. Side by side down into turn 1. Murphy's cleared Kirchenbauer now. Had a really good run through 1 and 2. Cleared Kirchenbauer on the bottom. He sets his sights now on Hysong for second.
Paints are slowly starting to load back in here. So we're just going to stick with this for the time being. This seems to be somewhat stable. But back to the right action on the racetrack. It is AJ Hobson. Finished on the podium in the Elite Racing League's Indy 500 last season. Is our leader. Then Jeff Hysong, who is 5th in points and looking to capitalize on 2 of the guys that were ahead of him in points, already having problems today. And Murph looking to capitalize as well. He is up to 3rd. Kirchenbauer's 4th. And Caleb Brashear is in 5th.
Ooh, Hobson was in all sorts of trouble crossed up on the exit of 2 there. That is going to be the trouble spot all night for these drivers. This car really dislikes that transition banking out of turn 2. You don't have the car completely and totally straight. It will absolutely send you spinning towards the inside wall if you don't have the car ready to go.
Let's follow along. Let's hop on board with the prodigy Andy Kirchenbauer as he goes to the inside of Jeff Hysong, going in to 3 and 4. Murph to the inside of AJ Hobson in 3 and 4. Murph Kirchenbauer starts sliding up the racetrack. Now he is slotted into 3rd.
Murphy
now,
backs up the entry to
yeah,
1 and
he
2,
does.
taking the high side. Hobson needs to see that Murphy's been married to the top there in 1 and 2. Kind of take that line from Murphy so that way he can't get crossed over here in 3 and 4.
Pretty much wide open through 3 and 4 for these drivers. Down the front straight, Murph to the inside of A.J. Hobson. Going into 1. And that high line should start becoming the faster of the 2 lines. And there it is. It's not definitive. Here comes Indy Kirkenbauer. Brute forces his way to the outside of Murph, and we are under caution.
Chris Albrecht looped it off of 2, just like I said. He didn't have the car completely straight, crossed up on him, and around he went. Oh, actually, there may have been slight contact from Chris Stouffer, but if there was, it was hardly anything.
A wisp of air almost on that one. Let's see if we can get a better angle from an aerial cam from one of the drones. Take a look at this again.
I really don't think they touched.
I don't think they did either. I really don't. It was a wisp of air, literally, that caused that car to go around. Let's ride with Chris Stouffer on the inside. And Chris is normally pretty good in the community for a very long time, a veteran of these cars. We do not see him with a lot of... no, there's nothing there.
I think Albrecht was a little higher than he wanted to be on exit and kept turning left out of the exit of the corner to avoid the wall because he was higher than he wanted to be to avoid Stouffer, and that's what sent him spinning.
Well, we have some drivers are going to answer the call to pit road. Other drivers are going to stay out. We'll discuss that here in a moment.
Wagner and Morales, I think, are the only 2 who stayed out. Peterson takes the lucky dog.
And that gets Peterson back on the lead lap, but that's good for him.
And Wagner's in the lead. And now he's 10 laps short on fuel instead of being 5 laps heavy.
And Wags in a throwback livery to Ed Carpenter Racing. I think that might be an old Joseph Newgarden livery, but also I know that Garrett Hildebrandt also drove the preferred freezer services livery before, but I think it was the white with blue, and then Joseph was the blue with white lettering. I think they drove those back in the 2017 16. It was the 100th Indy 500. Watching Jomo coming to pit road. He's going to stop for some service. But Wag stays out, will pick up the lead. He's already executed his fast repair, so he has a very long race to keep that car clean for the remainder of. A.J. Hobson second, Murph now third, Kirkenbauer fourth, Caleb Brashear is in fifth, and Clindy, we're going to talk about it here. What is the likelihood of track position saving Wags tonight? We normally see in these cars, especially in races past, when you and I did races in the old Iconic series over in Velocity Online Racing, that normally these cars reward those that always come with fresh tires.
Perhaps. I think with the cooler temperatures and the nighttime, it might benefit you to have track position first, especially with the amount of cautions this track typically produces. I think Wagner will probably stay here until 15 or 20 laps from now. We get another spin, and we'll see how many takers we have then. So I think it's kind of a good call for Wagner to stay out here. We'll see how quickly he falls through the field, if at all, or if he can protect the lead with the clean air he'll have up front.
Last 2 races we've had here from Season 7, Season 8, 11 cautions and 12 cautions respectively. So a lot of cautions traditionally do happen here. Green flag is out at lap 17 of 175. Your leader, your points leader now is kind of resurrecting his day at the moment. It is Matty Wags, followed by A.J. Hobson and Mark Murphy. Mark Murphy sends it to the inside of A.J. Side by side through the corner. Murph showing a little brute force action, and he's going to get the position, but it's not going to be over and secured yet. Drag race down the front stretch. Here comes Indy Kirkenbauer.
3-car slugfest for second place. They're looking too wide behind Hobson. Kirchenbauer now secures third and is going to see if he can find a way to the second spot of the podium. Dives the inside of Hobson on the flat end of the racetrack. The inside's pretty good on this end, and it's pretty bad on the other. It makes for very interesting position swaps.
It does. It does. If you go side by side with someone for a lap, chances are you can go side by side with them for an entire other lap with the way that these corners kind of equalize the battle. Riding with Caleb Brashear. Jeff Hysong, our pole sitter, fades the 6th, but this is just, good for him. They keep his eyes at least on those in front of him. Most of those, many of those drivers in front of him are just above him in points. So if he can keep them in sight, that is half the battle right there. Clay Kirkenbauer. There he is in a new livery, in the black and pink votive racing livery, kind of shades of Elio Castroneva's Indy 500 winning livery from a couple years ago from Meyer Shank Racing.
Wagner's putting that clean air to use. He's really starting to walk away here from Hobson. I know that he's very dangerous at this track. Whenever we've come here, whether it be the DW12 or the IR18, Wagner always finds a way to get dialed in here.
Well, that's right, and this is a pretty prime situation where Wags, we've talked about it for so long in this series that we've seen so many races here with new winners in a row or different winners in a row. Wags has won the last 2 races, and in fact, the most career wins here in the Dark Horse Series at Gateway is Wags. Wags has 2 career wins here in these 8 different runnings of this races. So he's looking for his possibly third consecutive win in the series tonight, and also his 3rd win here at the Gateway Oval.
Every time he wins 33% of the time. By the numbers. We crunched them.
Caleb Brashear to the inside of Indy Kirkenbauer with an odd exit off of 2. Caleb gets on by and move Caleb now up to 4th as he is now behind his Bash brother, Mark Murphy. Ride with Murphy as Murphy's kind of settled in to P3 at the moment. And if you're in the position of A.J. Hobson and Mark Murphy, Clindy, and you know Wags, first of all, Wags is now without a fast repair, so you got to know that. And you know that he got his track position in front of you on this last pit stop by just staying out. Do you really want to race Wags very hard, or do you want to stay behind him and possibly work on fuel saving and try to make this this next stint very long, because you know Wags has got to come to pit road before everyone else?
I think you actually want to take the lead. I think with the severity of the racetrack being so calamity-based, all of the yellows, like whenever you can have the lead, being in the lead here is awesome because we're not in a fuel save. If we do get that yellow, you want to come to pit road first. You want to have the track position over Wagner.
Whoa.
And if you're faster, take it where you can on the track. And he knocks the wall down there.
Oh, we're going to go 3 wide. Murph just sends it down the middle.
That's going to pay dividends for Murphy. He's clear on the outside. He's going to have whatever lane he wants here going into
right, and a very opportunistic pass for our defending series champion and move Murph up to lead, from 3rd to the lead in 1 corner. Oh, Caleb! Oh!
So close.
Neptune in chat says the last wreck almost looked like the air got taken off the rear, and I will agree to that. But the air, at least in the way that these cars behave, doesn't work like that. I've actually had I was in a long time ago. I was in a race predominantly with the DW12 in a race that was predominantly NASCAR racers, and I had a guy come up behind me and netcode me, and then he goes, "Well, I took the air off your rear spoiler." That doesn't happen in these cars, so I'm not so sure that the wind was taken off of Chris Albrecht out there, as we see this battle here between Wags and Kirkenbauer. But I do agree with you, Clinty. I do think that Albrecht's line was different, and that does alter the way your car handles off the corner if your line is you're not exiting that corner as much as you're used to. And maybe you're cranking that steering wheel a little too much at the corner exit.
Yeah, I mean, it's even like a 1% difference in wheel angle is what will do you in here. It's very, very treacherous. And you don't feel it until it's too late.
Right.
You can't save it then.
I remember it was I just ran across it. It was a random league, Clinty, and I got in there and I jumped in, and they were at Indianapolis, and I just dominated them. And what they had is they were using the setup that was normally used for Dallara Dash, which normally gets loose as the run goes on. So I adjusted my lineup high while they were still having problems down low, and I pulled out to a big lead. And of course, being a new driver in a league that doesn't know you. There just happened to be a late caution, and because they're stock car guys, they had a green-white checker, and so I start the restart, and this guy comes up behind me and just netcode nerfs me, coming to the checkered flag, and turns 3 and 4, and then he had the nerve to say, "Oh, I just took the win off your rear spoiler." I'm like, yeah, you guys really don't know Indy well, do you?
Hard to compete with you.
Yeah.
Just about everything there is.
Needless to say, I did not race in that league anymore after that. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But here's Murph getting the lead now, and A.J. Hobson underneath him, and joining him up front is the Bash brother, one half of the Bash brothers. And you see with our AMA coverage on Thursday and Friday nights, it's Murph and Caleb. And they now run second and third on the racetrack. But here comes Murph back to the inside as you're talking about those alternating lines at each end of the racetrack. And AJ loses the lead, but a crossover going to occur down the front stretch. AJ now to the inside, but slides back in line on Murph.
And Brashear's just back there licking his chops saying, "Hey guys, why don't you fight a little harder? I'll do what Murphy did, split you 3 wide.
And still needing to stop at some point here in the near future is going to be who's in fourth, and that is Matty Wags. And according to Wags in chat, I don't know how he's chatting and driving the car at the same time, but he says that's Newgarden's livery.
Probably while he was under yellow. I've seen him do that a couple of times.
Keep your eyes on the road, Wags! Don't text and drive. Caleb Brashear battling with A.J. Hobson. Can't quite pull that pass off. I believe this is Caleb's first start in these cars here in the series. He won the Open Wheel Challenge at the Sim Gaming Expo last September. Actually, it was the Open Wheel Invitational.
Brashear's got a great run here on Hobson. He's going to be on the bottom, which is the preferred part of the racetrack here in the flat end. Runs him up the track. Came in a little too hot. Hobson's going to battle back on the outside.
And that battle equalizes yet again. And Kirkenbauer underneath Matty Wags. It's a great battle here for second. And the thing is, and I don't know really, Murph is he's probably got the pedal to the metal. but the way that we're at night, the pace of these cars, the setup, it's not really allowing Murph to escape while those two behind him are racing pretty hard. And if this was IR18 racing, Murph would be kind of gone by now.
Perhaps. I mean, with the setups that they traditionally run in Dark Horse, any sort of league, you can always set the car up to be draggier than normal and make it harder to run away. The Dark Horse races always have a ton of parity because the setups are always meant to be able to stick together if you know what you're doing.
Top 5 together right now on the racetrack. Hugo Gallus in 7th. Isong in 6th. But the top 5 separated by less than a second on the racetrack. Right there in your picture. I'll show you gaps. This is how tight they are at the front. You see, here's the top 5. And then we got Haisong kind of by himself. And then about 4/10 behind Haisong is Gallus with Lilac Zier. Let's watch that battle back there. Go ahead.
He's not long. He's coming to pit road soon, so I don't know if that means this lap or in a couple laps, but he's just giving the field a heads up here.
The Wags coming to pit road, and you have to enter off of turn 3. You got to clear that orange box on the backstretch. I'll try to get you a better shot of that as the day progresses. And then you get down to the 45-mile-per-hour pit road speed limit at those cones. And now, unlike what happened with everyone else, he has to come to pit road under green flag conditions. Clay Kirkenbauer leaving his stall on pit road. And there we see Wags hitting the marks. The points leader coming in, tied for the points lead coming into today's race, down and away. And he will resume his race. But Mark Murphy now still your leader.
Ooh, Wagner lost it coming out of pit road. It's very tricky with the cold tires. He went about 90 degrees sideways, but he got it straightened up, didn't lose too much time, and crucially did not damage his race car.
Caleb Bashir is now around A.J. Hobson. See if we can go back and see that incident with Wags here. As he's down and away, starts to move. And I will firsthand admit that this exit and entry roads are very slippery in no matter what car you drive here. The DW12, the IR18, and you come off the button, you try to bring the car as quickly as you can up to speed on a much tighter radius than what you're used to on the racetrack. And there you see the back end wants to come around, and he caught it. And no black flag on exit there. He didn't actually clear the cone. He went to the other side of the cone, but I guess that doesn't matter. And he is clean and green. It's just going to cost him a little time.
Yep, you can always go to the inside of the blue cone on exit. You can never go to its outside.
If you enjoy our coverage of the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by 4D Racewear and respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future P1 iRacing broadcasts. Tonight's 8th running of the Dark Horse St. Louis 175 and the Dark Horse Racing Series is presented by 4D Racewear. Check out 4D's line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. And now race awards and custom championship rings for your own leagues. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in the description.
I think Brashear's got the fastest car. He's got the line figured out right now. He just can't find a way around Murphy. He's worked his way up through the field 2 seconds. Look at the runs he's generating off of every corner. I think if he can figure out how to navigate 1 and 2 and at least exit equal with Murph, he'll be able to have a chance to attack in 3 and 4.
Shane Dinsdale coming off a pit road. Cars sliding to the inside wall. Hugo Gallas. And that's putting the field under caution.
That is not what Matt Wagner
That is not what Wags wanted. No, not at all.
So Peterson will get the wave around of the lucky dog, and then Wagner will take the actual wave around. So Wagner won't get to pit. He's going to be behind on fuel again, but Peterson will get his lap back and be able to pit.
And that really had to be what Wags was worried about, is an incident coming off of featuring a driver coming off of 2, involving a driver coming off of 2, and that's kind of what happened. And unfortunately, Hugo Gallas gives up a top 10 position, and he's also in the top 10 in points, and he will have to tow and do the fast repair. But this is going to allow the rest of the field, as you mentioned, to come down pit road and effectively get in kind of a scheduled stop. We expect anywhere between, it could be, if we go a lot of green flag racing, and unfortunately, I just, the way these cars handle and the way that the setup handles, and you talked about it, Clindy, I don't think that we're going to see a lot of big green flag runs. I think everybody will pretty much be able to come to this race, other than what we saw with Wags, come to pit road under caution with the way that these kind of cars have issues off of 2. Someone's bound to have one. But it could be anywhere between a 3 and a 5 stopper. But the 3-stop window opens at lap 43, 44. The 4-stop window opens at lap 35, which we're well past that, as Gary Miguel totally missed his marks. And, Bashir almost beats out Murph. And a 5-stopper, the window's at 29:30. We're well beyond that. So I think for most of these drivers who've already stopped once already prior to this stop, they're probably looking at maybe 2 more stops to get it home.
Yeah, I think everybody came in here. 50 laps is about what the tank will get you. So I actually think you're going to go 50 from here to get to 105, 50 from there to get to 155, and that'll get you home. So yeah, 2 more stops.
Jomo stays out to lead a lap, but he will come to pit road this time. Chris Albrecht will get the wave around. That will bring him, he's actually on the, I think he's on a lead lap now, but he's just 1 lap down. Wags is the first car on the tail end of the lead lap there. Albrecht and Dinsdale are on the same lap. Dinsdale, that first car behind the pace car. I have Dinsdale in all kind of a black and red livery. I'm not sure what you have him in, but again, if we have the wrong livery for him, I apologize.
I'm also seeing red and black.
Okay. So we do have that correct. They are getting the wave around right now. They will hustle and get to the rear of the field in time for this next restart. I don't know if they'll have time to come down pit road and actually top off the tanks. That will turn the lead back over to Murph. Caleb Brashear second. A.J. Hobson third. Indy Kirkenbauer fourth. Jeff Heisong fifth. It has been that way pretty much all evening long since Murph went to pit road. Lilac Zier started sixth, is sixth. Chris Stouffer up 9 spots to seventh. Julian Altina up 7 spots to eighth. Gary Lovern in ninth. Gary Miguel started in fourth position. He is in 10th. He is down 6 right now. So pretty much everybody that's worked their way up into the lead here. Murph up 4, Caleb Brashear up 7, Stouffer up 9, Julian up 7. Those have worked their way up in the top 10. They've definitely had to work for it, as those that started up front has been no guarantee. Green flag out. Those that started up front, no guarantee of staying up there right now.
On the attack immediately, look to the outside of Brashear. It's got just enough room there. Side by side down the back, and they split Murphy's wake in 2. One went high, one went low. Brashear's going to be clear off the corner. Hobson's not done yet, though. He looks to battle back to the inside.
Watching Julian Altina also attacking former teammate of his, Gary Lovern. Back up to the battle with Brashear and Hobson. That is separated a little bit as Brashear, you're right. Brashear has definitely found a speedy and a more a line filled with a little bit more pace than everyone else around this place, because he looks again to be the fastest car out there right now.
Just because you're the fastest doesn't mean you're in first.
No, it doesn't.
Faster, pass me. That's what Murphy's saying.
And Chris Stouffer set the purple lap a little bit earlier in the race at the speed of 181.4. In case you're wondering, the track record here is 187.9 for the kart track record, as Caleb Brashear goes to the basement in turns 1 and 2. Is going to drag race down the backstretch on Murph, not have the momentum, slams the door before AJ can use the draft to suck right back up into the position. And now we're right back to where we were. It is Murph, Caleb, AJ, and Indy. The IndyCar IRL track record is Will Power in 2020 at the speed of 192.3. Joseph Newgarden has 5 career wins here, including 3 in a row from 2020 to 2022. Scott Dixon has 2. No one else has more than 1. Your defending race winner from Gateway a season ago is Kyle Kirkwood, his first ever oval track win. And a virtual list of who's who of drivers in IndyCar history have won here in races past, such as Paul Tracy, Alex Zanardi, Michael Andretti, Juan Montoya, Allenser Jr., Gilda Farron, Helio Castroneves, Takuma Sato, and Will Power.
Pretty much a guarantee that you're going to be a Hall of Famer if you win here.
I would say probably the least powerful name on that list is Sato, and he has 2 Indy 500 wins.
or Kirkwood, whose career is still young, although very, very promising.
Yeah, he still has a long way to go in an active career. Oh, contact between AJ and Indy, and they are in the wall, and we are under, no, we're not under caution. We are still under green. Indy is still up against the wall. One of our points leaders having problems again here at Gateway. And the caution comes out.
Sometimes it takes a little longer for the caution to come out if you don't get totally perpendicular to traffic.
Let's go back and see what happened.
Taking blame for it over the video.
We'll watch and see what happens here. And there was contact, I believe, really early in the camera shot, I believe, coming into the corner. Oh, yeah. Almost identical to what it was early in the race when we saw Wags get into the back of Murph. Just kind of caught him, and it looked like AJ backed the corner up just a tick. And that allowed the closing rates of these cars, which even in these cars, we're talking a football field a second. There's no, trying to break to save that. At that point, Indy's so close, he's pretty well committed that if the throttle is cracked by AJ, that he's going to end up in the back of him. And that's exactly what happened.
Real strategy for pit sequences. Murphy, along with Chris Stouffer and Charles Teed and Guillermo Miguel and Shane Dinsdale are all staying out.
Drivers get over to allow the wave around on Dinsdale. Yep. He gets the lucky dog wave around. But we have different strategies going on for people here stopping at lap 64. Brashear, Hysong, Zier, Matty Wags. Kirkenbauer is on pit road. He got the fast repair. He's back rolling. Now, I got to say, and I've participated in a number of leagues before, and there are leagues out there that abuse the fast repair. This is one of the few leagues that I know of that the drivers are exceptional in how they behave with the fast repair. There's a lot of drivers that think in fast repair leagues, oh, I'm just going to send it, and if I go into the wall and I cause a big wreck and everybody else gets into a wreck with me, they have the fast repair, they can fall back on that. That is not necessarily the case here in the Dark Horse Racing Series. These guys really try to avoid using the fast repair until they absolutely have to. And other than that, the racing here is always exceptional. You do not have those that race with the fast repair going, oh, I'll just send it, and if I cause a wreck, I can just do a reset. The racing here is a lot more exceptional than that, and there you see those that are using the fast repair. They're not going to be the types that you see in other fast repair leagues that are going to come back up here and just full send it into one and take out a whole swath of cars just because they can. The rules here are pretty... actually, not the rules, but the driver pool here and the racecraft here is pretty good. In fact, if you like what you see and want to be part of future races of the Dark Horse Racing Series, click on the Dark Horse Discord server invite in the description. You can learn more today. The car is free. It's part of your base iRacing package. Joining the league is free. All you need is a desire and the tracks on the schedule. If you think you got what it takes to race in the Dark Horse Racing Series and the pool of drivers, we encourage you to sign up today. Getting ready to go green, Murph, Stouffer, Teed, Miguel, they decided to all stay out. And also in the middle of that battle is Chris Albrecht, and then the first of the drivers that came to pit road, and Caleb Brashear. Green flag is out, lap 66 to 67. It is Murph, Stouffer, Teed, Miguel, and Caleb Brashear.
You might think fresh tires will immediately make a difference, but cold tires are actually very slow for the first lap or so that they're on the car. So it'll take the drivers who pitted just a few laps here to match the lap times of the drivers who had stayed out. Looks like Brashear's already on it. He's going to look to the inside of Albrecht here, looking into turn one.
Stouffer, Teed into turn one. Stouffer down up high. Teed, oh, wow! Stouffer clears Teed by a whisper on the high side of 1 and 2. Teed had to roll out of it, and that's going to bring him back into the grasp of Miguel. But back to that battle you're talking about. Brashear around Highsong now. Highsong trapped down low as he's got the slower car, and that's not necessarily a slower car. That's Chris Albrecht now, who is repaired, and he's just simply a lap down. 2 laps down. And Highsong trying to get around, but here comes A.J. Hobson. Oh, Indy. Evasive maneuvers in the back behind Peterson. Peterson back on the lead lap, by the way. These are 2 guys that are racing each other in the points championship. They might want to start working together a little bit here. Back up front, Murph continues the lead. Underneath, a little bit further back, Jeff Highsong got underneath Albrecht. Here comes Julian Alton on the high side with the run off of 1 and 2. Julian might have the run off of 3 and 4. He's going to have the draft of Albrecht to help pull him forward a little bit. I tell you what, Julian has a ton of scuffs on his front wing, and I'm wondering maybe if he got into somebody. Here's Wags going to take it 2 wide down the backstretch in to turns 3 and 4. He clears Highsong, move Highsong back to 10th, Wags up to 9th. Julian might be have some damage, or at least showing some damage on his car, but it doesn't seem to be impacting him. You can turn the fast repair on and off in your black box. So if he chooses he doesn't want to use the fast repair in his black box, he doesn't have to. Charlie Teed fading fast here.
It's like Altona's wing is back to fully functional. He and Hobson had slight contact that caused that scuffing to occur.
All right. Good battle here between Julian, Teed, Hobson, and Zier. Oh, Wags, big move to the inside on Zier down the backstretch. Very aggressive, goes to the bottom. and picks up the position. I think he may have surprised Lilac a little bit. And aggression is showing that it has a place here at Gateway.
You really have to assert yourself. Being aggressive lets you make those bold moves, and it's sometimes very hard to pass because the sides of the racetrack are so equal, disparate. If you take the high line one time and then the low line the next.
Riding with Matty Wags, one of the co-points leaders heading into this round of the championship. Whoa! He went a little deeper into that turn than he wanted to and almost got up into the wall, kept it off it, but Lilac Zier got the run on him to the inside, gets the position back. Here comes Wags to the inside. Lilac gets the spot back. They're still racing for it. He cracks the throttle a little bit, lets Lilac by, slots in the line right behind or right in front of Gary Lovern. We are now less than 100 laps to go. Traditionally, when the Dark Horse Racing Series has been here at Gateway, they've been about 120 lap races. Back in Season 6, they increased to 140 laps. Season 7, 150 laps.
Zier got such a good run there out of 2, but Teed was way in the backstretch. Zier's gonna have to find her way to the bottom here. Try to beat Matt Wagner to the bumper of Charles Teed.
The last race we were here was 135, but we're at 175 laps here in Dark Horse tonight. That's the longest ever race they've had here at Gateway in series history. And a series known kind of for short burst race. This is a little bit more of a marathon here tonight. So watching this, Zier, Teed, Wags, Hobson. Big run for Wags on the high side. Oh, Teed loses it off the corner. Inside wall, Charles Teed, and he goes to the wall. It's not going to bring out a caution, but it is going to cause him to tow. No, not yet. He's trying to back it up. He might have to Austin Powers that a little bit. Otherwise, yeah, he just tows to prevent a caution from coming out. But you can kind of see that his car's handling was going away. He stayed out on this last caution. Caleb Bashir stopped at lap 65, and he is now attacking Chris Stouffer. Many wins here in the Dark Horse Series, but not a championship to his name yet. Christopher has 4 career wins here in the series, puts him in the top 10 all time. In fact, if Murph can get the win today, car sliding off the corner again in almost identical fashion, and Lilac Zier. And that is going to be a new nose for Lilac. She keeps it rolling, but coming to pit road, no, it's going to stay out for another lap. So we are 30 laps into the run for a lot of these drivers, and here these problems off of turn 2 are starting to occur again.
Yep, I knew it'd be the danger zone. The setup is very, very aggressively tilted. Such that if you're not dead straight on the exit of 2, it really punishes you every time. So these drivers need to be a little more careful, keep the car underneath them. Dofer now mounting a charge at Murphy. He goes to the bottom, and he made up 3 car lengths. He's now on the back bumper, the rear attenuator of Mark Murphy for the lead. He to the inside here and 3 on the flat end. Dofer to the lead in a commanding move.
Yeah, I'm wondering maybe if Murph is starting to feel the effects of his car and the handling changing. Maybe he needs to realize that it's more of a drive to survive at this point. As you watch Stouffer just pull away through the corner. Stouffer very comfortable on the high side on the exit of 2. Brashear on the high side in 3 and 4. Julian Altena now back in the battle. He is up to 4th. He's up 11 spots. Stouffer up 15 to the lead. Oh, and Julian into the wall. And Julian smacks the wall pretty good. Stouffer, I think, may have gotten into the wall. So a lot of tank slappers now coming off of 2. I think that might be why Murphy, in fact, meatball flag. Julian Altena, P4. He'll have to come to pit road and get that, take a look at it, and execute the fast repair. But I think that might be why Murph decided to let some positions go, as he might be feeling that car getting away from him.
Good news for Julian is if this continues to go green, everyone needs to stop again anyway. So he'll just maybe catch the cycle again with another yellow down the road.
And we talked about it. Go ahead.
He's asking for his meatball to be cleared because the car's still driving fine.
I don't think they could. Is that a meatball? Can it be cleared? I don't know if it can or not. That's a good question. If someone in chat knows, go ahead and shout it out. If you're an admin, you can clear a meatball flag. I mean, but you're right. I mean, for him coming to pit road at this point, I mean, he is 25 laps into a stint. It's not a bad call. I mean, there are no tire limits here, so he doesn't have to worry about dipping into a pool of tires. He'll just, hopefully he needs to catch another caution, which at this point, the way we're seeing these cars behave off of turn 2, it's almost a sure bet we'll see another caution.
The question is when. And you don't want to be the caution.
Right. Now, Julian needs 5 laps to answer that black flag. And I don't know if he's just going to stay out and not answer it. And that is going to be a DQ. And that is a DQ. So he will disappear here in the next lap or so. I think he's coming to pit road right now. But he's stopped.
1 lap too late.
Yeah. Back up front, Caleb Brashear has now caught Stouffer. Murph has fallen well behind this battle. And again, back to what I was saying a little bit earlier with Murph. Did he feel the car going away from him? And if he did, he's adjusting to his racing aggressiveness because he's certainly not as fast as he was. And he's faster than kind of the cars immediately ahead of him. Excuse me. He's faster than the cars he's immediately ahead of, but the cars that he lit ahead of him have kind of pulled away.
I don't see any damage on Murphy's car, and this car is pretty resilient despite Altena's hit. If you glance the outside wall, the ad blocker usually just bounces you right off of it. You really, really have to connect with it to make lasting damage.
Well, let's ride with Murph, and let's listen to his engine. A little bit of a lift, a little bit of a breathe there in 3 and 4.
Nothing sounds amiss. Murphy's coming for fuel this time by. So it's not like he was in a fuel save. There's no way he's going to get to like 100, lap 120. Stouffer's also in this lap.
So they went 42 laps on this stint. Stouffer went 42, Murph went 42. And he gets down to that 45-mile-per-hour pit road speed limit on the button at those cones. And now it's a long roll to their stalls. Although Stouffer will get there quicker because he a little bit further back in the field, not as good as a qualifying position. Murph will be up front further. And now when they come to pit road and get their full service, it goes back to what we saw with Wags when he came to pit road earlier in the race. Now those guys need to pray that no one else has that same problem off of 2. And frankly, we're right in that window where we expect people to have problems off of 2.
A lot of them already had those problems. It's possible that everyone got it out of their system. Albrecht is going to be in this time.
Albrecht 2 laps down. You see that orange box on the racetrack just that he got underneath. You got to clear the orange box. You can't clip it. You get a penalty. Caleb Brashear, your leader, by 2.8 seconds over. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Matty Wagner's back. He is now in second. And he's on the same strategy as these guys in front of him. And then there's Indy Kirkenbauer. He's in third. Well, right now, for third for a little while longer, A.J. Hobson to the inside on the attack. Remember, Indy and Wags came into this race this weekend tied for the points lead. If you're just joining us, this is P1's broadcasting coverage of the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by 4D Racewear, coming to you from World Wide Technology Raceway, otherwise known as Gateway. Side-by-side battle, Indy Kirkenbauer, A.J. Hobson. This is the 8th running of the Dark Horse St. Louis 175. We've completed now just right about 100 laps. We are now inside of the final 75 to go. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you miss out on the next race. The next race for us here on P1 will be our Monday night doubleheader. Open wheel doubleheader. It's the Indy Open Series at Texas, followed by the Indy, as we see Indy Kirkenbauer coming to pit road scheduled stop. The Indy Next Road Series at Suzuka. Race 1 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Race 2 at 10. Our Monday night open wheel doubleheader. If you like open wheel racing, make P1 your home Monday nights every night of the week for 2026. Don't miss it. Indy Kirkenbauer on pit road. Go ahead, Clindy.
I was just saying, Brashear is also in this time by our race leader.
He is on pit road. Tonight's 8th running of the Dark Horse St. Louis 175 and the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by 4D Racewear. Check out their line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel, and now race awards and a custom championship rings for your leagues. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in the description. As Caleb missed his marks and had to roll back a little bit, it's going to cost him some time on pit road. High Song on pit road, scheduled stop. Jeff Hysong has actually had a pretty good history of races here at Gateway. He has 2 podium finishes. He finished second place in Season 5 and Season 6 here. Finished second to Matty Wags and finished second to LGN in Season 5 and Season 6. So Hysong, we know, does very well here. So he would like to do a good showing, help keep pace in the points. Stouffer's still out there turning laps. We expect Stouffer to come to pit road anytime. Actually, he's just been on pit road, so he's reassumed the lead. Sorry, he is 9 laps into his stint and actually has put a bit of a gap between himself and Murphy, Clindy, over that exchange of pit stops. So Murphy falling back a little bit.
Murphy actually held serve, but Brashear did not. Sliding through his box cost him a ton. Stouffer just had an exceptionally quick pit stop.
That allowed Gary Miguel now to get around Caleb Brashear. And now he is into the 3rd spot. Miguel has had a very quiet race. Races past here in the series, some contacts, some bad luck. That knocks him out of the running today. Very quiet race for him, and very quietly running in 3rd spot for Miguel. Here comes Caleb Brashear looking to attack. He stays high in turns 3 and 4.
This is where his fresher tires have now come up to temperature. It's pivotal that he gets around these cars that have undercut to start working back toward the lead. Wall corner is about as good as you can ask for. Ooh, did not clear Guillerme. Let's see if we get it done in one lap. Dials up the bottom here in 3 and 4. Clear this time.
And move Caleb Brashear, and I believe this is his first start in this series. Don't think he's made a dark horse start prior to today. So now he's put him in the conversation of first career start, first win in the series. We'll go through the field here a little bit, check out some of these drivers. Chris Stouffer, your leader. He has now reached lap traffic of Lilac Zier and Joseph Morales in that Cannon car. As Stouffer goes to the inside of Zier, clears Zier. Mark Murphy in second spot. Right behind him, his Bash brother, Caleb Brashear. Gary Miguel in fourth. Matty Wags in fifth. And his chief points rival right now, Indy Kirkenbauer in sixth. A.J. Hobson been in the top 10 all day today. Started second. Currently runs in seventh. A.J. joined up at the front by Jeff Hysong. Hysong started on the pole. Hysong fifth in points. He is now running eighth on the racetrack. Gary Lovern very quietly has worked his way up into the top 10. Currently ninth. And Eric Peterson trying to recover a bit of his race. Could use a caution now to kind of shrink this field up a little bit, but he's also in the points championship run, but he was taken out very early in an incident in turns 1 and 2, just past the green flag. And he's trying to recover his race. That is your top 10. Dinsdale 11th, Joe Moe in 12th. Lilac, Chris Albrecht, Hugo Gallas. The remainder of your field, 15 cars still running. 18 started the race. 12 on the lead lap. 61 to go. Thanks for joining us, everybody. On a busy open wheel Sunday. We had the Real NTT IndyCar Series earlier today. The Classic IndyCar Series here on P1 earlier today from Las Vegas. And we're going to wrap it up with the nightcap. The Dark Horse DW12 Series at Gateway. Under the lights. Nighttime is the right time for IndyCar racing. 60 to go.
The field's pretty well strung out here. No real battles for position. Everybody is pretty much solidified where they're running and has a pretty decent buffer to the next car chasing.
Yeah, we have gaps showing right now. The car that's in front of them. So that's what we're seeing. We can give you intervals to the leader. But you're right. Everyone is pretty well strung out now. Caution on the racetrack, and that's going to change everything. A.J. Hobson.
AJ might get away with not even using a fast repair here. It looks like he cleanly knocked off the rear spoiler with no other damage.
I think he is doing a tow, which is going to incur a little bit of a penalty. But this is off of corner 3 and 4. Did he grab too much of that inside curbing?
Looks like it.
And right in front of Jeff Hysong, who just misses it. Lovern misses it, as well as Peterson. And kind of right at the point where a lot of these drivers were expecting a caution. A caution has been delivered. A.J. Hobson started on the front row, and unfortunately that is not going to end that way for him as he toes the pit road. We are under caution. with 57 to go. And I would imagine there are no tire limits here in the Dark Horse Racing Series. So smoke them if you got them, first of all. So I would imagine everyone's coming to pit road. There is fuel limits here, 80% on the fuel capacity of your car. So we are going to be at the extreme range of fuel for these cars. This might be their final stop if they can go 57, 56 laps here on this final stint. And I'm going to have to defer to you, Clindy. I'm not sure what the fuel window is on these things with the 80%.
55 is the most you can go. I think 55 is out of the question. So I think Albrecht actually has the right idea here. He's taking the track position. Oh, he's going to take the wave around. He's a lap down. Never mind.
Yeah, he will get the wave, and actually will bring him 1 lap down. So another caution. If he can stay in that 1 lap down position, will bring him to the lead lap. The wave around back to the lucky dog is Lilac Zier. Lilac will come to pit road. Jomo's going to stay out. And I would imagine he's been doing 1 lap staying out and then comes in the next lap. I imagine he's coming in this time. And that will turn the lead back over to Christopher. And that will pick up, you got to be careful on pit road here. Not actually on pit road. It's the car outside of pit road. You can't pass under caution. Actually, that could happen when you're on pit road as well. So you got to be very careful here. Here and Homestead are tracks like that. So you got to be very careful not to pick up a black flag of passing under the caution. Everyone kind of giving a little extra room. 55 to go now. And we will be at the extreme range. Clindy thinks it's going to be right around 50 laps you could do on a tank here. Does anyone try to gamble, Clindy? Is it worth a gamble? Is it worth someone jumping in one more time and topping off the tank? Although it's too late now. It's 1 to go to green next time by.
I don't think so, Gary. I think if you're saving fuel, it's to time the yellow and overcut everyone else and be the only car in the lead lap. You're not going to make it to the finish from here, because you can't adjust the fuel maps. You can only feather it with your right foot, and you just lose way too much pace compared to everybody else going so fast. I think trying to make 55 would be slower than pitting.
Yeah, unlike the Classic IndyCar Series that we covered earlier today, that is a legacy car, but that's open setup. So tools and all the maps are available to those drivers. This is a fixed setup race, and those tools and all the setups that we normally have adjustments in our car in the IR18 in a fixed setup race, not available to these drivers. So it's just their left hand, right hand, their racing wit, and their right foot on the accelerator that is going to bring these cars home. Green flag is out. Stouffer, your leader. Attack, big attack down the backstretch. Highsong, Wagner, Gary Miguel, 3 wide and a 3 and 4. Oh, it gets narrow.
They sorted out like a hot dog getting shot through a bun.
Ooh.
Wagner went backward, but...
And right behind him, I think Lovern and Peterson were almost expecting calamity. They checked up a little bit, almost an incident back there.
Shears now caught up to Stouffer. He's looking to the outside here. Checks up just a bit on the front straightaway. To the inside. Let's see how hard he drives into turn 1. Oh, he backs back up to get to the outside. A bait and switch from Brashear. Let's see the run he gets off of 2.
Oh, he clips the corner as well, but it helps him to run down the main straight. It's going to be side by side, but I think that this might be different with newer tires, and he gets the run on the bottom, and we have ourselves a new leader. Not so fast yet. The battle's not over. Here comes Stouffer.
That's what I was talking about with each end of the racetrack being so different. When you put your opponent in a bad position, If you're not gone and clear, they're going to cross you back over every single time.
Checking in from pit road, Julian says that he would thought he was on his 5th lap, that he could come to pit road and realize that he got DQ'd. It happens. It happens. There have been drivers before that thought their qualification runs were over in Indianapolis and came to pit road early. I believe that happened to Dario Franchitti and Marcus Ericsson. Oh, inside wall, Wagner! Inside wall off of 2, and we're under caution, and that is going to have major championship implications, Clindy.
Yep, no more faster. So Wagner's done for the evening. No more points to be scored. He's going to fall to the bottom of the order if all the cars still running.
And again, it's just racing hard off the corner. Here he is racing Jeremy Miguel. And what we've seen happen to now about 4 other cars tonight off the corner, down low. He floats out to the high side, and the back end just keeps on sending and into the inside wall, and that is day done. Stouffer staying out. Caleb Brashear coming to pit road to top off. This will ensure, for sure, Brashear will be able to make it, along with everyone else coming with him on pit road. Everyone else staying out. They need to hope for more caution and save some fuel.
Well, I think 50 is the maximum save, Gary. So from here, it's still a save. Stouffer may not feel like he can save the 2 or 3 laps it takes, because if you remember, he and Murphy 42 laps the last time. Right? They're looking to go about 6 laps longer than that here.
This might not be a bad gamble for this entire crew right here if we stay green. But again, we're asking an awful lot to stay green with the way that these cars have been handling off of turns 1 and 2, certainly off of 2. We're now starting to see a little bit off of 3, but I think that was AJ maybe grabbing a little bit too much of the curbing. That loosened the car up, but we'll see. We shall see. If it stays green, it's to that group's benefit. Quote me if I'm wrong here, Clindy. That group that just pit, if it stays green, it's to their benefit. If we get caution between now and then, it's to the benefit of the guys with track position that are currently watching right now.
Yeah, and Brashear's actually getting cycled to the back here. I'm not sure if he sped or had an unsafe exit.
Someone in chat a little bit earlier in the race asked, what is a meatball flag? Meatball flag is presented to you in iRacing if you have damage. As a go to pit road and consult pit road with your damage. And sometimes it's a retirement, sometimes they can fix it. But that is what a meatball flag is. There is another new flag that is in iRacing, and if you have lagging or bandwidth issues, you can get presented with the I guess it's the bandwidth flag. It has basically a bandwidth symbol that you would see like on a phone or something. That is another flag. That's a new flag that gets presented that drivers can see. And we see that in timing and scoring here. Unfortunately, it doesn't make the main overlay, but we just have to report it to you, and that's what a meatball flag is. We're getting ready to go green with 45 to go. Stouffer, Murphy, Miguel, Lovern, Hysong. Now, the top 4 did not stop. They stayed out. For 5th on back, they came to pit road. Alternate strategies here to finish out this race.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag is out. Will the gamble pay off for the group ahead? Or will the gamble pay off for the group in front? We shall see as we're back underway here at Gateway. For the Gateway St. Louis, for the Dark Horse St. Louis 175. Here comes Murph.
Here come. Yup, same thought from me. Murphy's looking to attack Stowe here. They don't care about fuel. They just want to go fast.
A little bit of a gap back to Miguel and Lovern. Lovern stays in line right behind Miguel. Not attacking yet. Down the front straight, Murph right in the tire tracks of Stouffer. A ton of IndyCar starts and wins for both of these drivers at the league and official level here on iRacing. Stouffer, a former Indy Fixed Series champion. Mark Murphy, a former Indy Fixed Series champion. Battle for position a little bit further back. Peterson, Heisong, side by side in the one. Caleb Brashear, purple lap, following that group. 181.8. What Jeff Heisong looking to capitalize here. It's not been a great race for Jeff, but we've talked about where he's had 2 second-place finishes here in the past. And maybe he has just a good feel of the car and a proper pace to have here. But he is now up in 5th. And remember, he is 5th in points. And he is looking now to gain ground on Wags. Also ahead of Peterson. Gain ground on Peterson as well. Here goes Indy Kirkenbauer. This is the battle for position on the racetrack and in the points championship.
Indy just shipped it down in there. He said, I want the high side. I don't care if I'm slow on exit. Brashear got stuck behind him in the slow lane. Coming to 3 and 4, Heisong's going to have a good run on the bottom. He's going to clear Indy back. We'll see how they fight down the front.
A real quick reminder on the points. It's Kirkenbauer and Wagner came into this event tied at 136 apiece. Peterson in 3rd, Wags in 4th, or Murphy in 4th, and Heisong in 5th. Those are your top 5, really, that are going to be the battle for the points championship as this season continues.
Ooh, Indy slid up quite a bit. Oh, he held it down to not knock Brashear out of the top lane. Great car control from those 2 young drivers.
Oh, Peterson into the wall off of 2, excuse me. Side by side with Caleb Brashear with Heisong, and Brashear on by. And I would imagine Brashear, who stopped in that 129 group, Heisong as well, they threw on new tires. There are no tire limits, so they topped off the tank. They're good to go, completely good to go to the end. There's no fuel save. Indy Kirkenbauer slides to the inside wall. And that is going to be day done for him. And this is a caution that's going to help the lead pack and hurt the pack that Indy was actually racing in.
It looks like that happens because Dinsdale was to his outside. They made slight contact on the exit of 2, and it just ricocheted Kirchenbauer to the inside wall. No hope in saving that automobile.
Let's watch this again. Dinsdale back on the lead lap. He has worked hard to get back on the lead lap. He's up to P7 right now, but here's the battle going into 1. Kirkenbauer down low. Clears him. But here comes Dinsdale on the outside with a head full of steam and maybe some netcode contact. That might not have been a setup issue. That might have been actually netcode and not going to send Indy to the inside wall. And that's going to be a tow as well. And if he hasn't executed the fast repair, he's going to execute it. But unfortunately, he needs to wait for the tow. And everyone coming to pit road once again. So this is no longer a fuel race at this point.
If I'm Caleb Brashear, I'm only putting in the extra half gallon or whatever it would take to get me home. And I'm going to take the lead here on slightly worse tires. Only been 10 laps or what have you.
We'll watch Caleb Bashir as he gets to his marks. This time he hits him up on the jacks. Stouffer is moving. And, well, Gary Lovern moves up to 4th. Around.
Great stop from Gary.
Yeah, and Haisong 5th, Bashir in 6th. So this is going to be a shootout to the end now. These guys are all now good to go. This is no longer an issue of fuel mileage for those group of drivers that stayed up front and gambled that maybe there would be another caution that came out, and their gamble came true. They might want to hit those casinos across the river. And once again, if you're just joining us, you're watching P1's broadcasting coverage of round 5 of 9 of season 9 of the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by 4D Racewear. Coming to you from World Wide Technology Raceway for the 8th running of the Dark Horse St. Louis 175, where Chris Stouffer currently leads. Mark Murphy 2nd, Guillermo Miguel in 3rd. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. The next Dark Horse race for us will be a little while from now. We'll be well into April for the next race. Just need to make sure that I give you the right date here. The next race for us is April 12th, Sunday, April 12th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Actually, it's April 19th, excuse me. April 19th. April 12th is votive at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. 8 p.m. Eastern Time, April 19th. Dark Horse Racing Series will be round 6 at Texas Motor Speedway. For the 4th running of the Dark Horse Texas 225. Coverage starts 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't miss it, but we got a couple weeks off between now and then, including Easter. So happy Easter, very early happy Easter to all of you. That is next Sunday. Getting ready to go green now. Lights are out on the pace car. Stouffer has the field under command one more time. We're going to go green with 33 to go. Stouffer, Murphy, Miguel, Lover, and Haisong, your top 5. And here we go. Sprint to the end, Clindy.
And Stouffer got a great jump there, looking to cement his lead and maybe only pull 1 or 2 with him, so that way he has no chance of losing the podium. Gary Lover now on the attack to the inside of Guillermo Miguel, looking to put his Votive Racing League machine on the podium.
He's there. He has 1 podium finish already this season, looking for another. But he has a whole host of angry bees right behind him, including Jeff Haisong and Caleb Bashir. As we go 3 wide off the corner, Haisong, Bashir, and Bashir's going to slide. He drags the car around, but he doesn't touch anything. A lazy spin.
He touched one other car, a little love tap, sent him spinning. No other damage. Got away with it clean. We call that oopsie. Uh-oh.
And just 3 wide, Miguel to the outside, Haisong in the middle. And just, and right around a very lazy spin. But this is going to hurt him insofar that he's going to lose track position, but he's still in the running. He'll be able to come to pit road, throw on another new set of tires. But he's got to pass a whole bunch of people now. Wags checking in from the infield care center. That's why Wags doesn't win championships. I could win races, but 0 championships for him. Well, he's still in the running for it. And we still have more racing to go. Here is the schedule, by the way. After tonight, we do go to Texas, then Pocono. Homestead, Miami to wrap up the season at Indianapolis. There's still lots of racing. And some of those racetracks, Wags does reasonably well at. He does pretty well at Pocono. So does Stouffer. Stouffer's a Pocono whisperer. Homestead, Miami. You know, just about anybody could win there. Just the way the track's configured, the way these cars race there. Indianapolis, we've seen a whole host of close finishes in races past Indianapolis. Texas Motor Speedway should be a big one. There's still some opportunities out there. But yeah, Wags has got to feel like, Clinty, this has got to be one that he's got 2 wins here in the past. And 2 wins coming into this round. You got to feel like this might be one that got away.
Oh, absolutely. He's going to be kicking himself over this one for the rest of the championship as it unfolds, because he's definitely put himself behind the 8 ball when he looked like he was going to be firmly in control after overcoming early misfortune.
Lights are still on the pace car. They'll probably go out this time. And we will go racing next time by. Once again, want to thank 4D Racewear. If you want to race, you want to join the Dark Horse Racing Series, the car is free, the league is free. All you need are the tracks and the drive. Click on the link in the Discord. Click the Discord link, in the description. That's an invite to the Discord server, and you can get started there. This is the longest running, continuously running DW12 league on iRacing. In fact, about the only other league in iRacing that has been that runs these cars longer is the official Dallara Dash Series. Jeff Hysong taking a low position down the backstretch, not joining the line yet. Now he cuts back up. He will cut in behind Jeremy Miguel. Going to go green with 28 to go, Clendy. Field is getting smaller and smaller. And again, a very typical gateway race here for this series. A lot of cautions. A little bit of eye pacing tonight.
Yeah, attrition off of turn 2. Knew what the assignment was. The drivers, not so much.
Green flag, good jump for Stouffer. In fact, he starts his acceleration in the corner and actually pulls out to 3 car lengths over Murphy going to the 1 as we jump into the cockpit of Chris Stouffer.
He's got his eyes fully forward right now. I don't think he's worried about those mirrors at all, trying to drive away from the rest of the field as these laps tick down.
Here comes Murph. You see him in this shot here out the gearbox, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Battle for position brewing behind Hysong, Jeremy Miguel. Eric Peterson all of a sudden back in the battle. In any other race, he might have been out at turn 1, lap 1. Not here in Dark Horse.
And that's the beauty of the fast repair. Your day's not done until you're done twice. So you have room for making one mistake or having a little bit of misfortune in the wrong place, wrong time. But if you play your cards right and you be smart, you can make it to the end and capitalize.
Yeah, Hysong to the inside, and Miguel forces his way in. And now Peterson's got to worry about the action in front of him. He's already used that fast repair. Caleb Brashear fastest lap, 182.3. But Peterson's already used that fast repair. He cannot use it again. In fact, up front, everybody in the top 5 has not used their fast repair. So he is the highest. Peterson is the highest running car in the order that has used the fast repair. He is trying a bit of a recovery drive, and it's been basically the entire race that has taken for him to recover.
Jeremy just put a slider on Gary Lovren for 3rd. Lovren attacks back on the bottom here into turn 3. Sends it in, ships it in, clears Jeremy.
Slides up, feeds him the dirty air. Miguel down to the inside, back into 1 and 2. The battle continues.
Really drove in deep. Andy gets an okay exit. He solidifies 3rd place, goes to the bottom to protect.
Gary just tucks back in line. Meanwhile, the top 2 start to pull away by about 2 seconds. Oh! no! Cars in the
Oh,
wall.
big
We're
crash.
rocking off of 2, and one of them is Peterson. Another one is Haisong.
And they're on the backstretch. If they don't get going soon, that's going to be a yellow. Peterson pose. Haisong's got going straight, and he doesn't even look like he does that much damage.
Let's see what happens here as we do not go caution. Is Haisong. What happens here? Just a huge net code. Dinsdale runs into it. I think he is forgiven. No, I don't think Dinsdale is forgiven. He'll have to come to pit road and get repairs taken care of. But unfortunately, we were talking about what we said about Peterson, and his day's done. And Haisong, his championship hopes are now possibly falling by the wayside with this outcome today.
Maybe not. So many championship contenders have had a bad day that the one who's had a good one is Murphy, it seems like.
The yellow flag.
Caution on the racetrack,
yellow.
and there's the caution, and it is Dinsdale off of 2.
He coming out of pit road after getting his fast repair. And that might be a black flag for an unsafe pit exit, although I don't see it in the UI.
And here we see Dinsdale getting the roll off of pit road. And I do not see the black flag either. We are under caution again here at the St. Louis 175 for Dark Horse Racing Series presented by 4D Racewear. 18 laps to go, and another late caution here. And we will see what happens with Dinsdale coming off the button, just trying to hustle that car. And here's the thing on the fast repair. 9 times out of 10, the fast repair fixes everything. And unfortunately, that looks more driver than fast repair. There are cases where the fast repair doesn't fix everything. And sometimes that causes a car not to, you go out, you hustle in it because you think the car is back to where it was before you smack the wall. And the fast repair, for whatever reason, just doesn't do its job. And sometimes that causes a wreck after you do execute the fast repair. But that doesn't look like the case here with Dinsdale. He's just hustling it and trying to bring it up on the apron there and brings the car around. And where it ends up is going to bring out a caution here with the auto stewards here on iRacing. So we're under caution once again. And Stouffer's got to be thinking, geez, guys, we need to, I want to get this race over with. But it's just opening the door and giving one more opportunity to Murphy. And right behind them, Gary Loverid's got to be liking this because it's another opportunity for him.
I actually think Brashear might be in the best place here. He had the freshest tires and was starting to make up ground.
And he comes to pit road. Everyone throws on a new set of tires. Again, no tire limits here in Dark Horse. Smoke him if you got him. And Gary McGarrell comes to pit road with a new set of tires. Caleb Brashear, new set of tires. Lilac. Oh, no! Caleb Brashear spins to the inside, coming off the corner, off the exit. And unfortunately, he's going to have to give up those positions.
I actually think he's going to get them back here, Gary.
We'll see if he gets those back.
They're keeping him. He's not gonna. They're keeping him where he is.
He's coming to pit road right now. He might be throwing on another set of tires after that. Might as well at this point. Let's reset the field here with 17 coming to 16 to go. We'll go green next time by, I believe. Chris Stouffer. As we hear cars out there burning off some excess fuel. Chris Stouffer, 4 career wins here in the Dark Horse Racing Series. That puts him at, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th, 8th all-time, and a tie with 8th all-time with Mark Cohn. He's looking for win number 5. That will bring him into a tie then for 7th all-time with Henry Bennett and Luis Gonzalez Nunez. Murphy, he's looking for his 4th career win. If he gets his win here, he will tie Chris Stouffer and Mark Cohn for 8th all-time. So there's your crossover, and he is your defending series champion. Remember, Mark won the championship a season ago, not winning a single race. Gary Loverd looking for another podium finish. These top three did not come to pit road. They could be sitting ducks with the older tires. Their tires are only 19 laps old, and we've done a lot of this under caution. First car off of pit road with new tires is Gary Miguel, that yellow car. Haisong is a lap down between the red car as we go back to green flag racing. Haisong is the black car between the red car here of, well, I'm trying to mark on the screen. Go back to Gary Lovern there. Gary Lovern, this is Haisong right here. He's a lap down, and then the yellow car right behind him is the first car that came to pit road. There he is for tires. 15 to go. So Miguel's sitting pretty, but is he going to run out of time?
It'll be hard for him to win, but I think he can probably claw his way up to Lovern and then fight. Depending on how quickly he gets by Lovern, he'll have an opportunity to fight Murphy. But yeah, like you said, all those laps done under yellow is really no wear and tear done. And the temps haven't really caught up because they've had so much time to cycle them to get cool under the yellow flag laps.
Stouffer last one back in season 8, back at Auto Club Speedway. So it has been a little bit of a dry spell for Stouffer. Go ahead.
Ovals don't get much different between Auto Club and Gateway.
Right.
Those two places pretty much worlds apart.
Chris Albrecht to the inside of Haisong. Chris Albrecht back on the lead lap. He's in 6th.
So is Lilac Zier, who's knocking on Gary Lovern's rear door, looking away to get herself into 4th place.
So Miguel around Lovern. Lovern fades to 4th. But here comes Gary Miguel. So now Miguel is going to attack Mark Murphy. And there was a race earlier in the season. I believe it was it's Miguel, purple lap of 182.40. He slides up in front of Murphy. And now does he have time to get to Stouffer? And I think he does have time. Here he goes to the inside
Absolutely. All
of
in
Stouffer.
one lap.
Sends it Miguel. 2 positions and half a lap. Miguel to the lead with the new tires. Miguel, I was getting ready to quote him. Miguel and Murphy got in an incident earlier in the season racing together at Charlotte, and now Gary Miguel is 10 laps away from getting his maiden win in the series down the backstretch of the 3 and 4. Stouffer trying to hold off Mark Murphy.
Gary needs to put race strategist on his resume because he's going to snooker them here with that call. Lilac Zier, next best car on tire. You tracked in Mark Murphy. She currently sits in 4th.
And there's still time, and she gets a good run off the corner on Murph. The snake begins down the backstretch. Lilac creeps into the picture. She's going to be on Murph, probably down the front stretch, going into 1 and 2. And maybe those guys that stayed out with those new tires are maybe regretting that move right now. Here's Lilac Zier. She's going to get to the attenuator of Murph into 1 and 2. Send it to the inside.
A little bit of pace on exit there. Stouffer ran the same line Zier did. That's what Murphy wants to see. Zier goes higher this time through the flat portion of the track. She's going to build a big run for the stretch.
He goes underneath Murph. Not able to quite clear. Miguel out to 9/10 of a second lead, and he is just about ready to break the draft envelope. In fact, he has. He has.
He's gone.
He is gone. This is his race to lose now at this point. He does not want to see another one of these cautions coming off of turn 2 and turn 4. And it brings this field back together. He is pulling away. Stouffer needs one of those cautions. Meanwhile, Lilac Zier one more time reaches Murphy. Chris Albrecht reaches Lovern, sends it to the inside of Lovern for another position. Chris Albrecht, the Indianapolis winner from a season ago, clears him off the corner. Can't quite clear him on the straightaway.
Zier's going to stop Murphy this time off of 2. Murphy with the better run because of the high side. Zier needs to go where Stouffer does not in 1 and 2. Looking like bottom here is going to work. Murphy shuts the door.
Again, Albrecht to the inside of Lovern. Here comes Caleb Brashear. He's like a man possessed, almost high in the exit. Oh, and he's banging wheels with Hugo Gallas, who is back. Surprise, surprise, Hugo Gallas is back on the lead lap. He's going to get some valuable points in this championship. 3 to go here at Gateway. Guillermo Miguel looking at his maiden win. The strategy might pay off for new tires late. 1.2 seconds over Chris Stouffer, one of the real veterans of the series. And this is going to be one happy podium winners interview if Miguel can get the win. 2 to go at the line, Clindy.
I think time's running out for Zier. Zier's really got to figure out how to navigate 1 and 2 better. She looks to go higher than Murphy this time. Let's see what kind of run she can get down the back straightaway. Not enough to draw alongside. She's going to have 1 lap left to get it done.
Off of 4. Guillermo Miguel started up front today. Started 4th, rides first. And 1.25 miles to go for his first win in the Dark Horse Racing Series. White flag out. Cleanly through 1 and 2. Down the backstretch. Looking at his first win. Zier to the inside of Murph. Not going to be able to quite get there. Stouffer looks secure in second. Into 3 and 4 for the final time in a turn from home. Guillermo Miguel gets his first win in the Dark Horse Racing Series here at Gateway. Into the winner's circle. Welcome to the fraternity of winners, Guillermo Miguel.
With gusto. Put an exclamation point at the end of that win. Guillermo went from 3rd to 1st in 1 lap on fresh rubber and showed them all who's boss.
Fireworks down the backstretch as he gets
Fireworks on the racetrack.
on the racetrack as Miguel going to do some well-deserved victory donuts.
Garrett stops at the start-finish line, picks up the flag, and he's going to do a solo victory lap, cool-down lap all by himself. Wave to the fans. Savor the moment, buddy. You can only have a first win one time.
I got my first league win here. Miguel got his first league win here. He does the victory donuts off turn 2. Ironically, off of turn 2. Keep it out of the wall. Give me Miguel with the win. Chris Stouffer in second. Mark Murphy in third. This is really going to impact the way the points are going to shake out. Murph might be the points leader after all this. Lilac Zier in fourth. Caleb Brashear in fifth. Gary Lovern in sixth. Chris Albrecht seventh. Hugo Gallas eighth. Jomo in ninth. Jeff Hysong in 10th. I'm going to say your Luis Gonzalez Nunez driver of the race might be Caleb Brashear, making his first start in the series. He improves 4 spots and he had to overcome a lot, really, and more than one time in this race to bring that car home in the top 5, and he does. I'm just going to guess if Luis is watching, that might be your Luis Gonzalez Nunez driver of the race. Going to the next page, Shane Dinsdale had a rough race, but he brings it home 11th. Peterson, not the race he was looking for in 12th. Indy Kirkenbauer, same way, 13th. Wags, definitely not the race he was looking for in 14th. AJ Hobson, 15th. Julian Altena, 16th. Charlie Teed, 17th. Clay Kirkenbauer, 18th. Yari Brubacher, JB in 19th. I believe that is our entire field. Good showing tonight. And we will get some replays queued up and get into the interview room.
Ready to go whenever you are, Gary. Just let me know.
All right, stand by. All right, and we will kill the B-roll here and get into the interview room and bring in Mark Murphy, and he joins us right now. Mark Murphy, I would say congratulations. Probably not the finish you were looking for. Held strong all race long, kind of with the same handling issues. I've kind of cursed this car here with this setup off of turn 2. And in fact, at one point, we kind of saw you kind of back down the pace a little bit. We're not sure if you were starting to have handling issues and you were just trying to drive in the racetrack at that point in the race. But deciding to stay out in that last caution, not go for the tires, and the gamble didn't necessarily pay off. Finished third after falling back from second. So you only lost one position, but the gamble on the new tires or the older tires didn't pay off at the end.
I mean, I thought it paid off well enough. Hate to see that caution come out with 15 to go or whatever it was, because Chris and I were gone. You were spot on. I was not racing other people. I was racing the racetrack, and it wasn't because of handling. I thought the car handled just fine. It was I thought the car handled just fine. It was more of a fuel issue. The schedule that I was on, you needed to save a lap here and a lap there, and it's fairly easy to save a lap or two here at Gateway, but people at home might not know you don't have the advantage of fuel maps in this car like you do the IR18 in the sim. So you got to save it with your foot, and the only way you can do that is back it down. So that's what I was doing up there. I was trying to drive to a number, and I was hitting that number, and Caleb was fast and Stouffer was fast, and they wanted to go fast. So I was like, all right, you boys go on ahead. You boys go on ahead, and then at the end, you gotta realize where you're at and what you're doing, and you gotta understand the it's the war, it's not the battle. And I knew Indy had trouble, and I knew Peterson had trouble, and of course Wags is in Discord with us, so we knew he had trouble. And so, all right, well, they're all going to finish outside the top 10. There is absolutely no way I'm going to race Stouffer here. I'm happy to finish second. And then I felt like with the way the tires were, they were good enough for 4 or 5 laps that the worst I was going to do was third. If somebody got up there and got past us, well, that's fine. I'll finish third. And that's where we wound up. So good night.
Plenty of questions for Murph here, finishing third tonight. He is now the points leader. He is the points leader by 14 now over Indy Kirkenbauer. So small battle tonight. You won that one.
I mean, it's still a long deal yet to go. There's still 4 races. You got Texas, Pocono. I got Texas, Pocono, Homestead, and Indianapolis coming up. Indianapolis and Pocono, anything can happen. Texas is just about my favorite track though, so I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to Homestead too. Those are 2 tracks that you really have to manage your stuff and understand what the heck you're doing, and so I'm looking forward to those. And yeah, I mean, it had been nice to win. It'd been nice to run second, but I'm perfectly satisfied with third.
I don't know if Clindy's there. Clindy, you got a question for Murph at all before we let him do his shout-outs?
Absolutely, I did. You passed it to me and then asked a question. So
I know. I kind of did a
in.
weird thing there because the points have been updated.
Yeah, no worries. Murph, you and Stouffer, I think, were the only 2 drivers all to not cross up on you on turn 2. And I kind of gave the viewers at home my assessment of how that is, but I wasn't in the bucket today, but you were. Tell me what you did to keep your car straight and fast out of the exit of turn 2 all day long today.
Very much 2 things. I mean, in this car, you got to enter high. You got to enter high, and then you got to exit low. So it's a high-low corner, and you want to have the wheel as straight as possible when you do exit. I realized in practice that if you had too much wheel in it coming off the corner, you were just going to knock the wall down. And I realized the bottom wasn't going to be preferred as much. And so, it's not like the modern car where you've got tools and so forth, and you can play with them coming off the corner. And so you had to drive it. And if you went in high and got the car pointed low coming off, and you had the wheel pretty straight, you didn't have to worry about spinning it out. The bad news was that wore out the right front pretty good, but trade-offs, right, Clindy? I'd rather have a wore out right front than be backward in the fence. So that's what we did.
Big picture racing and puts you in the points lead. So congratulations. Third place gets you the ability to shout out anyone you'd like, friends, family, sponsors. The floor is all yours.
Yeah, I mean everybody. It's everybody at Indy Alliance Racing, the Global Alliance. Uh, always fun to race with you guys. I got to thank LC Motorsports, Mark Cohn, for helping us out. Um, Black Magic Studios for the paint, admin box, race control to touch of a button. Gotta always thank those guys because they do a lot for us. Everybody at P1 Broadcasting for actually giving me a night where I can race. And so, Gary, thank you for the night off so I can race. It's fun. We're giving a pretty good ride. Got to shout out Jim Brooks, man. This whole month of March, we've been honoring Jim. He's the Area 51, one of the Area 51 founders, and of course, I call their IndyCar series on Tuesday nights. And so, it's about the last race in March that we'll have, and just want to remember Jim for a little bit. And then, John Rambrellis too, for everybody at TBD Motorsports. We lost a couple of guys that are really, really large in the community, and you may not hear about them so much now, and they're not in a ton of broadcasts anymore, but those guys are kind of like founding members. And so, thinking about Jim and John tonight, and we will see you at the next one, boys. Keep going fast and having fun.
All right, Mark Murphy, the points leader now by 14 over Indy Kirkenbauer. In fact, the tie that we started the evening just simply moved down to second place. The only person that made any progress in the points was Mark, now up 14, and now he's being chased by Indy Kirkenbauer and Matt Wagner going into the next race of the season at Texas, a track that Mark says that he likes very much. Mark, congratulations on the P3, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. Thanks, Clindy.
Let's see here. Murph, I don't know if I got a chance to show that he did lead 58 laps tonight. So not a bad lap-led night, adding to his season total. Now we'll move on to Chris Stofert. I don't know if we'll have Garrett Miguel joining us in the booth. I put out a call for him on the Discord server. We'll see if he shows up, and if he does, we certainly will talk to him. Let's bring in Chris Stouffer. Stouffer is with us here in the booth. We thought that today might have been a good opportunity to get win number 5 in the series, but it just didn't get delivered that way with the late caution and the new tires with everyone behind you, and the gamble to stay out didn't hold off, but you still brought it home in second.
Yeah, that's exactly right there. The fresh tire certainly prevailed at the end. If we didn't get that second caution there, and at the end, and me and Mark really checked out from the field. So that's racing for you, and you make a call, you try to stick with it. Just couldn't hold them off.
Go ahead, Clindy.
Yeah, so what was your thought process when you saw Guillerme charge through the field and then dispatch you and Murphy all in one lap? You're like, dang, I should have pit for tires, or something else running through your head there?
No, my thought was, should have pit for tires. I mean, he passed me like I was sitting still, so I was like, damn, I need new shoes.
Well, P2 here tonight, and you did control a good chunk of this race tonight, but no, the best you could do, I guess, is bring it home in second, all things considered. 9 cautions for 27 laps, so a little bit of a frustrating race, especially there at the end, just trying to get some green flag laps to finish this thing out, and the late cautions kind of came back to bite you a little bit, but still brought it home in second. Any shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors, anyone I want to say hi to before we let you go?
A shout out to 40 Racewear as always. Check out 40racewear.com. The league putting it on, you guys in the booth for broadcasts and everything. Will say I screwed up qualifying and hit that old rumple strip in 3 and 4 and got the wall, so I had to do it the hard way and drive through the field. So, I shouldn't be too disappointed in second, but it was a fun night, and thank everybody for coming out and joining us.
Well, we will see you when we get to the next round at Texas. Congratulations on the P2 tonight, and we'll we'll see whether, let's see, the points have been updated, and you are, I'll try to find your name here on the points. You are in 6th now. Still some time left to play. 54 behind the leader, so actually kind of closed the gap a little bit. It's just over a race worth of points that you're behind, so still some time, but we'll see at the next race when we get to Texas.
Sounds good. Thank you.
That is Chris Stouffer. Clindy, remarkable race. I don't think we're going to have Guillermo Miguel joining us in the booth. But if he does pop in here in the closing stages, we will certainly bring him in. But a remarkable race. Guillermo Miguel becomes the 24th different winner in Dark Horse Racing Series over 9 different seasons. That goes back to, let's see, when was the very first season of Dark Horse? Going on 10 years now. It started back in officially on record in 2020. The unofficial season 1 was, according to the admins, more of a for fun season. I guess the results really didn't start counting until season 2. But we look back at season 2 in 2020 and 24 different winners over the course of that time frame, over a pretty illustrious career of the only DW12 league that runs now on iRacing, and add a new winner to that fraternity. And then on top of that, it wasn't an easy one. He had to win it on a bit of a gamble to throw new tires on it, and then he had to beat 2 of the all-time greats here in this series. Chris Stouffer, one of the all-time top 10 in wins, and a former series champion, and Mark Murphy.
Yeah, in order to be the best, you have to beat the best. And those 2 guys have more experience in this car than anyone else in the field, except for maybe Peterson and Haisong and Gary Lovern. I think those are the 5 most tenured and weathered veterans. Oh, and Matt Wagner, of course. So to race past them in the late stages of the race, even if it's a little bit of strategy, he had to be in position to be the first car on tires. He was, and away he went. Took it to the house.
There you see his stat line for today. And he led 11 laps there towards the end to clinch the victory. And we will also bring up the final stats one more time. Normally we have an interview to run this through. And we will just accelerate the process here tonight. I thought we've had Guillermo Miguel in the interview room before. It might be a language barrier there too. I'm not sure. But I'm sure he is very happy. And if he has anything to say, he'll make sure to put it into the Discord server to people to thank and anything he wants to say. But his maiden win in the series, and really his pace has picked up this season. So it's not surprising that he finally got the win, because we've seen him definitely getting good qualifying runs as well as good performances on the racetrack. Just bad luck or one thing or another has kind of kept him from bringing those good results to the end of the race, and finally he was able to deliver on that. Final thoughts here on Gateway, Clindy, and I appreciate your pinch hitting today all day long, starting for the Classic IndyCar Series earlier today at Las Vegas to tonight here at Gateway for the Dark Horse Racing Series. We will see you probably later this week when the Indy Oval Series resumes its schedule. But final thoughts here, and then looking ahead for the week ahead and for the series ahead.
Yeah, just drivers need to watch Mark Murphy's interview, learn how to drive in turn 2, because, man, it really caught a lot of drivers out. Both this time and the last time this car was here, just the car really does not agree with that corner. So do a little practice, figure out how to not spin it, not loop it there, and not end your own day. And, maybe next time you'll have a better result. You can be like Guillermo and put yourself in position to bolt on those new tires late and set the fireworks off for yourself rather than one of your competitors. But thanks again so much for having me today. It was a blast to call 850 kilometers of Dallara action this afternoon.
And put on the new Firehawks to get the fireworks. How about that?
Exactly.
All right, let's get on out of here and give everyone back their Sunday night so they can start the week. That's it for tonight. Once again, your podium here for World Wide Technology Raceway for the 8th running of the Dark Horse St. Louis 175. Guillermo Miguel with his maiden win in the series. Running away, really. He pulled away there at the end to win by 1.3 seconds over Chris Stouffer and Mark Murphy, 2 of the all-time greats here in this series. And that's how you get a win. That's to put an exclamation point on it. That is your top 3 here tonight. You could join Andrew will be back and myself again April 19th with the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by 4D Racewear. Heads to Texas Motor Speedway for the 4th time in series history for the Dark Horse Texas 225. Start times 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Remember, for those in Europe, we're going through a time change this weekend. Everybody in the United States just went through a time change, so it's an all-new season for the correct broadcast time in your area. You can find everything right here at YouTube at youtube.com/@P1 Broadcasting. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not an easy one, so please help support P1 with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know your thought on tonight's race. If you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders to miss out on more P1's other iRacing programming, including coming up this week, once again, a reminder of our upcoming programming. Let's talk about Tuesday night. Our Tuesday night, basically a triple header, but the second race is going to run side by side together. 8:15 will be the IndyCar Oval Series that we talked about at Pocono. And then at 9:30, we're going to do a side-by-side race, Area 51, their 2026 season, round 9 at Iowa. Mark Murphy will be in the booth for that, and then Jacob Collins will be in the booth for the Indy Next Oval Series at Oswego. There's a racetrack you don't see open wheelers at quite a bit. The Indy Next Series at Oswego. That is a Tuesday night triple header starting at 8:15, but race 2 and race 3 actually start at the same time at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So open wheel racing, no matter how you like it, super speedways, big ovals, short ovals, whatever. It is on Tuesday night here on P1. Tonight's 8th running of the Dark Horse St. Louis 175 and the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by 4D Racewear. Check out 4D's made for sim racing line of gloves, shoes, and apparel. And now race awards and custom championship rigs for your own leagues. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in the description. Track cans for this race are provided by Whiplash Sim Cans. Get the most out of your iRacing experience with Whiplash Sim Cans. To learn more about Whiplash, like them on Facebook or follow on X and Instagram. Links are in the description for business inquiries to learn more about P1 and what we do. Like us on Facebook. You can follow us on X and Instagram. You can follow all of our social links on Linktree. You can check those out in the description too. So for Kyle Glenworth, the absent Andrew Wood, everyone here at Dark Horse Racing Series and 4D Racewear, I'm Gary Gotso saying to all, thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military, especially those in the skies and the seas in the Middle East and all the first responders out there, Godspeed, God bless, come home safe. Gets us again right here, April 18th in Texas, for the next race of the Dark Horse Racing Series, presented by 4D Racewear, right here on P1. Good night, everybody.